First of all, we must internalize the flatulation.
And then he used to have this line he would say to me, a woman is as sweet as honey as long as she does.
So it was all these bad versions of the Delirious outfit. So we were, you know, laughing about that. And I held one of them up and I was like, you know what, I should wear this out tonight. He's like, what? I said, yeah, I should put this on. He goes, that'd be hilarious. I said, all right.
What really happened to end in Living Color? One of the most famous comedy shows of the 90s. Why did a show that made us laugh and launched the careers of stars like Jim Carrey and Jennifer Lopez come to a sudden stop?
And last year's new addition from Boogie Down Bronx, Jennifer Lopez.
Was it creative differences, ratings, or something behind the scenes? Let's look at what led to the official end of this groundbreaking TV show.
Give my number. Call me. I'll rock your world.
Living Color wasn't just another comedy show. It was fresh, bold, and completely different from anything on TV at the time. Created by Keenen Wayans, In Living Color was all about making people laugh while talking about real-life issues. It wasn't afraid to joke about serious topics, and that made it stand out. The show gave us unforgettable characters like Fire Marshal Bill and Wanda, played by stars like Jim Carrey and Jamie Foxx. And let's not forget the Fly Girls, the amazing dance crew, which even included a young Jennifer Lopez.
And last year's new addition from Boogie Down Bronx, Jennifer Lopez.
The show was groundbreaking for Black comedians and actors, giving them a platform to shine in a way Hollywood hadn't before. Many cast members went on to become superstars, but it wasn't all smooth sailing. In Living Color pushed boundaries, and that sometimes caused controversy. By season 3, things started to go downhill, and by the end of season 4, the Wayans family wasn't involved anymore. The show ended after 5 seasons on May 19th, 1994. Keenen Wayans didn't even want to make a TV show at first. In 1988, he had just made the hit movie, I'm Gonna Get You Suka, and wanted to focus on making more movies. But executives at Fox loved his movie so much that they made him an offer he couldn't refuse. They promised he could create whatever kind of show he wanted.
We all get laughs.
Keenen had an idea, a sketch comedy show like Saturday Night Live, but edgier. He wanted shorter, snappier sketches and jokes that hit hard and fast. No long, boring characters, just quick laughs. To make it stand out, he added hip-hop music and dancers, making the show feel modern and fresh. He pitched characters that became iconic, like 2 over-the-top gay movie critics, a parody of Louis Farrakhan on a spaceship, and 2 hustlers selling stolen goods from a truck. His vision was clear, and the pilot episode was created.
Edge, and you know, we loved your movie, and you know, we would love for you to create something for.
But Fox got nervous. They wanted edgy programming. But when they saw the pilot, they didn't know if people would accept it. Afraid of backlash, they delayed the show for almost a year. They even tried to get approval from groups like the NAACP and the Urban League. Keenen was furious. He felt it was unfair to ask him to get permission to make comedy. Did other creators face this kind of scrutiny?
What do we got done, huh?
Nothing.
Nothing.
In later seasons, more cast members joined the team. Jamie Foxx and Steve Park in season 3, Marlon Wayans and Ali Wentworth in season 4, and Annie Johnson, Jay Leet, Reggie McFadden, Carol Rosenthal, and Mark Wilmore in season 5. Then at the end of 1992, midway through the 4th season, Keenen left. He'd always battled the network over his ideas for the show since the start, and over time, things just continued to get worse. Fights over risky material were common with Keenen, often lashing out at the censors, he told The Hollywood Reporter in 2019. I didn't have antagonistic relationships with the censors. I wasn't irrational. I knew there were restrictions. It was more about how far can I go? Like, just tell me where the line is.
And that's when everybody got nervous. Like, everybody.
The frustration was that the line was moved week to week. So you could do something one week, but if they got mail, you couldn't do it the next. We were constantly in that dance in a display of family unity.
He goes, undoubtedly, it is great and funny. He goes, but we just don't think we can air.
Damon and Marlon, who appeared as guests on the show that season, but had no contract, also left. Sean and Kim tried to leave, but were unable to due to their contractual obligations, according to a 1993 article from the LA Times. As the season got underway the previous fall, Keenen had begun phasing himself out so that he could concentrate on films and other projects. Jim was among those who locked horns with Keenen over his apparent preoccupation with outside projects. Keenen and I butted heads against each other. He was going off and doing other things, and I felt the ship needed a captain. I felt his heart just wasn't in the show anymore. And you can't do a show like that halfway. Keenen was fighting with the network, plus he didn't want to be there. The final straw for Keenen came when he and Fox tangled over the repackaging and airing of the show's first season. He was unhappy that Fox did it without his approval or participation, feeling the reruns would harm the future value of the show. Once Keenen and his family were gone, the whole enterprise fell apart and became worthless. It's a narrative that was certainly pushed by the way in siblings themselves and wasn't without some truth. Much about the show changed when Keenen left, and many of those changes weren't for the better. At the end of the last episode of that final season, a rap trio called to be continued, which could be seen as the most fitting name they could possibly have in that moment, took center stage. About a minute into their performance, the credits started to roll, and then a minute after that, without so much as a goodbye from any of the cast members, the broadcast just abruptly ends.
Then let's get this show started with some enthusiasm.
The title of In Living Color was inspired by an old NBC tagline. The network used to say they were broadcasting in living color during the late 1950s and 1960s, before color TV became common. The show's title was a nod to that phrase, giving a hint of its colorful and lively energy. In Living Color made history when it won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Variety, Music, or Comedy Series in 1990. It beat some big shows like The Arsenio Hall Show, Late Night with David Letterman, Saturday Night Live, and The Tracy Ullman Show. That's a big deal. The show wasn't just popular, it was also critically acclaimed. The Wayans family played a huge part in Living Color. 6 members of the Wayans family appeared on the show. Keenen, Damon, Kim, and Sean Wayans were part of the original cast. Dwayne Wayans, however, wasn't a main cast member. He often appeared as an extra and worked as a production assistant. Marlon Wayans joined the show in season 4, becoming a featured cast member.
Yo, you're too slow.
One fun fact is that Sean Wayans, who was billed as the show's house DJ, wasn't actually mixing music. His DJ equipment wasn't hooked up to anything. He just pretended to be a DJ for the cameras. He listened to the tracks to stay on cue, but everything was just for show. Kelly Caulfield, an original cast member, and Steve Park, who joined in season 3, ended up getting married in 1999. They have 2 children together, showing that In Living Color had a little bit of love on set too. The show wasn't without controversy. Right after In Living Color debuted, the famous rock band Living Color sued Fox Broadcasting Company. They claimed the show had stolen their name and logo. They even asked the court to stop the show from using the name, along with requesting damages. In the end, the case was settled, but it was a tense moment for the show and the network. Here's an interesting story from Rosie Perez's memoir. She talked about spotting a curvy girl with a big booty from the Bronx at the New York auditions for the show's Fly Girls. This girl was Jennifer Lopez. Rosie didn't think Jennifer was the best dancer, but she saw something special in her. Rosie thought Jennifer had star quality. She even told Keenen, "That's the girl." But Keenen didn't agree. He thought Jennifer was too chubby and corny. However, when it came time for the final decision on who would be the new Fly Girl, Keenen did something unusual. He let the other girls vote for their new member. The girls picked Carla Guito from the LA auditions, not Jennifer. It was all on national TV, so Keenen couldn't really change their decision. But after the show aired, he went out of his way to bring Jennifer Lopez on board.
Anybody know why the chicken crossed the road? To get to the other side.
Keenen Thompson eventually left In Living Color after several clashes with Fox. But it wasn't just the network he had problems with. There were also rumors that some of the cast members didn't get along with him. They said Keenen ran the show like a dictatorship, making decisions without asking for the group's opinion. He was also accused of playing favorites with his siblings, which didn't sit well with everyone.
Then let's get this show started with some enthusiasm.
A funny character on the show was Homie D. Clown. The character was based on Paul Mooney, a well-known comedy writer. Mooney had worked on the show for a while. After the writers would play jokes on him, Mooney would say, "Oh, homie, don't play that." The writers took that phrase and turned it into one of the most famous catchphrases from the show. Another funny part of In Living Color was the creation of Jim Carrey's famous character, Fire Marshal Bill. This character was inspired by a joke Carrey made in the writer's room. One day, frustrated with Keenan's constant rejections of his sketch ideas, Jim stood up and started pitching a sketch from his behind. He did it in Keenen's direction, and the two nearly fought over it. The sketch didn't make it to air, but Jim's face from that sketch ended up becoming the iconic Fire Marshal Bill character.
Huh? I followed you out of that porno shop down there on Kauai, and I knew you had to be going to.
Several famous comedians like Martin Lawrence, Margaret Cho, Susie Essman, David Spade, Rob Schneider, and Adam Sandler all auditioned for Saturday Night Live, SNL, at different times, but none of them made it onto the show. It's interesting to think how things might have been different if they had joined the cast. These comedians went on to have successful careers, but SNL wasn't the place for them. On another note, John Leguizamo was actually offered the chance to become an SNL cast member. However, his representatives advised him not to take the offer, so he turned it down. It makes you wonder what might have happened if he had joined the show. Keenen Thompson's character, Frenchie, actually came from a night out with Eddie Murphy and Rick James. One evening, they were hanging out at Eddie's house, and Keenen discovered a closet full of cheap red leather outfits. These were from fans who loved Eddie's famous stand-up, Special Delirious.
So it was all these bad versions of the Delirious outfit. So we were, laughing about that.
Keenen thought it would be funny to put one of the outfits on. He also grabbed a Rick James wig, a gold chain with the letter F on it, and some funky sunglasses. Keenen went out clubbing that night and ended up joining Rick James in his limo. Keenen pretended to be Eddie's cousin from Augusta, Georgia, for the rest of the evening. This funny moment inspired his SNL character, and it became a big part of his time on the show.
As we're leaving, I got one more thing. And I go in the kitchen, and in the refrigerator...
There was also some drama during a SNL Super Bowl halftime episode. A sketch caused a lot of trouble when it suggested that actor Richard Gere and Olympic athlete Carl Lewis were gay. This upset both men, and Richard Gere's agent even threatened to sue. Nothing came from the lawsuit threat, but Carl Lewis got an apology letter, and the situation was smoothed over. Keenen, who was part of the show, says the live broadcast had a delay of around 60 seconds, but the censor didn't cut the joke in time. At the time, Carl's sexuality was openly talked about in Hollywood, which may have made the situation even more sensitive. Other celebrities, like Spike Lee, didn't enjoy how they were portrayed on SNL either. They didn't think the jokes were funny, and some felt it crossed the line. The show often used humor to poke fun at famous people, but sometimes it upset those involved. Lee criticized the show for its portrayal of black stereotypes, and some skits, such as Men on Film, were deemed controversial for their depictions of gay characters. One of the most controversial sketches was called Bolt 45. This sketch aired on May 5, 1990, and featured Keenen mocking Billy D. Williams' Colt 45 beer commercial. In the sketch, Keenen's character gets a woman drunk, and it ends with her passed out on a table. The sketch suggested that the man was about to take advantage of her, which upset a lot of people. Even though Keenen argued it was just a joke about the beer, the network didn't agree. They insisted on making several changes to the sketch, but after that, the show never aired again. It was removed from syndication and DVD versions, and it hasn't been shown on TV since. Cast members wore sunglasses to protest against the producers. In one episode, the wrong tape was put on air by mistake. This meant that the wrong version of the show aired in full, which caused some trouble. Sean and Kim, two of the cast members, couldn't leave the show because they were tied to contracts. Along with their siblings and other cast members, they showed they were unhappy with the mistake by wearing black sunglasses and not taking part in Jamie Foxx's Christmas performance at the end of the first episode after Keenen's departure. Out of the nearly dozen cast members from the first season, Kim Coles was the only one who didn't return. Why? Because Keenen fired her. Later, she found out that Keenen didn't think she was versatile enough for the show. She believed that Keenen chose his sister over her, which hurt her feelings.
And then he used to have this line he would say to me, a woman is as sweet as honey, as long as she...
After a few years, there were talks about bringing In Living Color back with new characters and sketches. However, after 2 years, Keenen decided to cancel the idea. He felt that the show's original level of talent was too hard to match today. He explained that while this generation has talented people, they are talented in different ways, and a show like In Living Color wouldn't work as well now.
You know, before I learned how to exercise properly, I was a poor excuse.
Now let's look at what happened to the cast members after the show ended. Starting with Jim. Carrey was one of the biggest stars to come out of In Living Color. He became famous for his wild energy and funny faces. After the show ended, Jim's career skyrocketed. He went on to star in major films like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, The Mask, and Liar Liar. His unique style made him a beloved comedian worldwide. Over the years, Jim continued to act in both comedy and drama roles, like in The Truman Show and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. He's also had his share of ups and downs in life, but remains a big name in Hollywood.
I guess we call you listless, Muppet Man.
Then we have Tommy Davidson, who was another funny actor on In Living Color. He played a variety of characters and was known for his hilarious impressions. After the show, Tommy didn't slow down. He acted in films like Booty Call and Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls. He also kept doing stand-up comedy, where he performed all around the country. He appeared in TV shows like The Proud Family and Mad TV. Even though he didn't become as famous as Jim Carrey, Tommy's career has been steady, and he still keeps his comedy alive today. David Alan Grier was a key part of In Living Color, known for his sharp comedy skills and range of characters. After the show ended, David stayed busy in the entertainment world. He appeared in many films, including Boomerang with Eddie Murphy, and he starred in the TV series Dag in the early 2000s. David also found success in theater, acting in Broadway plays like Race and The First Wives Club. His diverse career shows that he's much more than just a TV comedian. He continues to entertain fans with his comedy and acting.
You are strong, you are beautiful, you are perfect. Welcome.
Takia Crystal Kima was known for her powerful performances on In Living Color, especially her memorable sketches and characters. After the show ended, Takia kept working in TV and movies. She starred in That's So Raven, one of Disney Channel's most popular shows where she played Raven's mom. Takia also continued acting in films and theater and used her talents behind the scenes in the entertainment world. While she might not be as well known as some of her co-stars, Takia has continued to have a successful and varied career.
Anybody know why the chicken crossed the road? To get to the other side.
Keenen Wayans was the creator and star of In Living Color. He was the driving force behind the show and worked behind the scenes as well. After the show ended, Keenen stayed busy in Hollywood. He became well known for directing and producing movies, like Scary Movie and White Chicks. He also had his own TV show, The Keenen Wayans Show. Keenen has continued to work in comedy and TV, but he's also focused on his family and keeping a lower profile compared to his busy In Living Color days. Keenen Wayans, Keenen's sister, was a regular cast member on In Living Color. She was known for her amazing comedic talent, especially in her characters and sketches. After the show, Kim continued to act in TV shows and movies. She appeared in sitcoms like Hangin' with Mr. Cooper and Wayans Brothers, which was a show starring her brother, Damon Wayans. Kim also moved into writing and producing. She's worked on several projects, including the movie A Love Tale. She still enjoys a career in acting and is often seen in comedy roles. Kelly Caulfield was another key cast member on In Living Color. She was known for her funny characters and her great timing. After the show ended, Kelly kept working in the entertainment industry. She appeared in TV shows like The Drew Carey Show and The Jamie Foxx Show. Kelly also worked as a voice actor in animated shows like The Simpsons. Though she didn't stay as famous as some of her castmates, she continued to enjoy a career in comedy and acting.
First of all, we must internalize the flatulation.
Damon Wayans, another talented member of the Wayans family, was a fan favorite on In Living Color. He played a range of wild characters, from a famous sketch of a comedian named Homie D. Clown to other crazy roles. After the show, Damon went on to have a successful career in TV and movies. He starred in The Wayans Brothers, a sitcom he did with his brother, Marlon. Damon also acted in movies like Major Payne and Bulletproof. Later, he became known for his work on the hit TV show, My Wife and Kids. Damon still stays active in Hollywood, acting and working on comedy projects.
And then he used to have this line he would say to me, a woman is as sweet as honey as long as she don't.
Kim Coles was another memorable cast member who stood out for her energy and fun characters. She became famous for her role on In Living Color and for her later role in the sitcom Living Single, where she played Sinclair. After the show, Kim found success in TV and movies. She appeared in shows like The Parkers and The Love Boat, The Next Wave. Kim also became a motivational speaker and wrote books. She continues to inspire people with her comedy, public speaking, and work in entertainment. In 2020, the show celebrated its 30th anniversary. Even though it's not airing anymore, its impact is still felt. Many of its former cast members became big stars. Plus, artists like Bruno Mars and Cardi B paid tribute to the show in their 2018 music video for the song Finesse. This shows that In Living Color still has a lasting influence on TV and pop culture today.